A big game Wednesday. Next game on the schedule is always our approach. Texas is not only a really good team that's well coached. They're playing great basketball right now. They're hot. 3 out of 4 wins, 4 out of their last 6. You always kind of hesitate as coaches talking about somebody else's team. But Shock and I are friends, but I would tell you that I think they're the most talented team in the Big 12. They're young, and they've overcome a lot of adversity with Andrew and some injuries and stuff like that to Roach, but just player for player, like on the roster, they got really good players. At least 2, 3, 4 guys are going to play in the NBA. So they have our full attention because they're a good team. They obviously beat us the first time we played them this season, and we just have a lot of respect for the talent they have on their roster. Yeah, they definitely have an identity, Carlos, the things they've done all year long, but they're also kind of, again, they're playing really good basketball right now. 4 of 6, 3 of 4. Just got a better flow offensively. I got one of their key players back from an injury. So, the identity of their team, I think, is their talent, their length, their athleticism, but also they're a really good defensive team. I think it's kind of catch-22 in our business. Like that guy can really recruit. He's got pros, or that guy can really coach. Shock gets both. He deserves to get the credit for the players they have. He was recruiting pros when he was at VCU. Now he's doing what everybody can and will do at Texas, but he's also just a really good coach. They're one of the best defensive teams that we played all year.
I know you mentioned Kerwin a little bit. How much of a shot in the arm was he for that team just when he kind of did play against y'all? And I guess, are you kind of hoping to slow him down a little bit this time around?
Yeah, I think to win any Big 12 game, your team has to play well. Every guy on your roster, that plays in the game's got to do some things. But then I think on top of that, it's like Captain Obvious, but it's just so true. You got to have 2, 3, sometimes even 4 players just play really well to win a Big 12 game. So certainly for them, Bamba's found a level of consistency, and then Roach is playing great right now. It wasn't a surprise when he played against us. That kind of sounds good for the story. We were prepared. We knew he was getting close to coming back, so we had a game plan, but give him credit. The story that night was not us being surprised. It was him playing great. He deserves the credit for playing great in that game.
Coach, with the way Bomba's played here over the last 4 or 5 games, kind of starting with against y'all, but I don't think he averaged 24 and 13 this last week. What are you seeing in him that's been the biggest difference the last 4 games where it seems like, I don't know that light bulb's the right word, but just kind of gained a lot of confidence, seems like?
Yeah, I would agree. If he's not the best player in college basketball, he's a part of that conversation. Everybody in Lubbock should buy a ticket and come see him play on Wednesday because you're not going to see him again in Lubbock. He's a fantastic player playing for a coach that puts him in a great situation. I can't comment about the coaching here. Bamba's great, but Shaka's getting him the ball in different spots and seems to be playing with great confidence. And he's just a really good defensive player. And sometimes when you have talented young players, we hear a lot about this with Zaire and Culver. It's like, people underestimate how hard they play too. Everything kind of happens easy for talented players. It looks like they're kind of flowing through the game, but to me, Bamba plays hard. He runs the floor and he makes effort for second play. So I think he's obviously a really talented guy playing for a great coach, but also you got to give him credit. He's got a great motor and he plays really hard.
This may be obvious, but in what way does it help kind of having seen him already? Obviously, you can watch him on tape as much as you want, but actually having seen kind of the length and what he does in person.
Yeah, I think with that question, you're getting into what's it like the second time you play somebody. So the experience factor of both teams. Maybe with some of our younger teams, I would tell you that maybe our guys will pay a little bit more attention to the report, but I don't think that. I think we were ready to play in Austin. We wanted to win really bad. We had a game plan we believed in, but Texas played better than us. But I would think, maybe with players like him, it's hard to simulate. First time we played him, we had wiffle bats out trying to explain to the guys that this is how long a shot blocker he is. To me, he's the best shot blocker in college basketball that I've ever seen, and I've been around a little bit. And when you got guys in our league saying he's the best shot blocker since Bill Russell and things like that, again, the guy can impact the game in a lot of ways. So So maybe since we saw him play the first time, that'll mean something. But I don't know till Wednesday night.
Coach, how much can Malik help out just as another body, another person to deal with their big men on Wednesday?
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in Malik. This year's been pretty cool for Culver and Z so far. The attention they've got, they've earned it. But anytime you guys ask me about it, I put Morrow in the same category. Morrow's a guy right now that's just trying to look for a little confidence. He's literally one breakout game, I think, from really helping us. And I'll call it right now. He's going to play great at some point, puts in a lot of time. Morrow's going to be a really good player in the Big 12. Just needs to stay the course. And Malik, too. Malik would have been playing a lot this year. He just battled some injuries. We couldn't get him healthy. And we finally got him to the point where he can play. We decided to play him. He wanted to play. So he helped us at Iowa State. He helped us win our last 2 games we've won. So I think Malik helps us not just because he's a third body with Tommy and Norris. He helps us because he's a good player. And so I look for Malik to play some really good basketball, not only this week, but as the season continues.
Questions for Coach? We'll get the microphone to you.
I guess just in terms of Tommy being able to kind of help Malik a little bit, how have you kind of seen that dynamic work out? Because I know, like you said, he was with the scout team for a little bit, didn't know if he was coming back or not, and then obviously now Tommy's kind of embraced the fact that he's kind of been his mentor, so to speak.
Yeah, I like Tommy Hamilton, man. That's my guy. Sometimes there's not always a relationship between what that stat sheet says and what's really going on. I mean, you'd have to kind of do a story on Tommy's whole life. He's a great player growing up. He's one of the highest recruited guys in the country, living in Chicago. Decides to play for his hometown school. I think there was a coaching change when he was there, and sometimes style of play and what have you. But Tommy's a very talented person. If you asked anybody in our league that's coaching, they would tell you the same thing. So he comes here, he transforms his body. We're playing a different style of play that he's ever played, and he's really bought in. He's had some huge games for us. We don't beat South Carolina if it wasn't for Tommy's play. He's an interesting person, too. Unless you know Tommy, you might have a different perception when you see him, but he's a very unselfish guy. He's got a big heart. He really wants to win. Sometimes when it looks like Tommy's down, he's down on himself more than anything. I think, there's guys playing in the NBA right now where you go back and you look at their college stats. Man, he's a better pro than he was college player. That happens. I hope that's not Tommy's story. I hope we can get Tommy continue going in the right direction, and he ends up having a great year for us this year. But he's just an unselfish guy. I think he is helping Malik. I think he's helped Norrance, and I think Norrance and Malik have helped him too. So Tommy's a guy that I have a lot of confidence in. I feel a real responsibility coaching him to try to get him off to better starts. We try to run things for him to shoot the ball and to get post touches and things like that. But big picture, I love Tommy Hamilton. I got a lot of confidence in him. I think he's going to really help us in the second half of conference.
I know Keenan had the 2 good games, but just overall, I guess, how did you kind of see the offense kind of maybe gain some confidence in these 2 wins? Because I know in the 2 losses you had mentioned you got good shots, you just didn't see the ball go in. It seemed like this one, you guys were kind of forcing the issue, being more aggressive, getting to the free throw line now.
Yeah, it's life in the Big 12. We dropped a couple games, and I remember sitting right here, and it's like you guys look different at me. A couple of you didn't even say hi to me when I walked down the hall, but today, everybody wants to say hi. That's just life and coaching or athletics, Everybody's your friend walking through the halls, when you win. Everybody kind of looking at you like you don't know what to do, and you don't. But with Keenan, he was getting great shots and being aggressive when we weren't playing well. We just stayed the course. He never faltered with his confidence. That's what great players do. I think it's the same thing with our team. This is just life in the Big 12. A 2-game winning streak feels like, where's the cigars and champagne? A 1-game losing streak feels like the world's over. So you just got to stay the course, and you just got to. I think our guys did that. I think even with the disappointing games in Austin and Ames, we were doing a lot of things we really believed in. We just got to play better. I think offensively we've passed the ball better. I think our passing has gotten better, and that's led to Keenan having some opportunities. And I think defensively we just got to stay the course.
Got time for a couple more. We'll start in the back and we'll go to Wendell.
Coach, is that play by Zaire, I think early in the second half, where he blocks it, runs down the court, gets the putback slam, that type of effort and energy, is that the type of player that you want on your team? Is that the stereotypical type of, this is the guy I want and this is the type of guy I'm trying to build Tech with?
Yeah, absolutely. I think all those guys in that recruiting class, and Avery, Benson, and Parker are doing a good job in practice too. So we got a lot of confidence in our young guys. But your question brings up something. We in this league, I don't think you can really just go out there and score enough points with your offense to win. You're like, hey, we got to score 85 points tonight. What plays you want to run? It doesn't work like that. Like, you got to create some offense out of your defense. And for teams like Texas, it's the shot blocking of Bamba and the rebounding to their length. And for us, it's just we got to be scrappy. We got to make plays. And I think late in that South Carolina game, a possession that I'll never forget would be, Justin Gray getting a deflection, Jarrett Culver diving on the floor, passing it up to Zaire, and Zaire gets fouled with the intentional foul. Plays like that just embody everything we're trying to do. And there's a few possessions in my whole career, I can remember, whether it be, DeMario Mayfield's block shot, Chris Jones down, pass to Marcel Holden. They're plays that really embody what we're about, and that was a big one for us against South Carolina.
We'll go to Wendell to wrap it up.
Hi, Chris.
What's up?
I want to talk to you about Roach again. Just he makes an impact. He's making an impact more on offense, but he's one of the better perimeter defenders. What does he bring to them when they've also got Bamba back there on the back line as far as a guy that's really good as a perimeter defender? And have you seen his offense really kind of getting a little bit better this year?
Yeah, he's another story in the Big 12. Like in our league, we get a lot of stories with like Trae Young or Bamba. That's great for basketball. Those guys deserve it. But then there's the other story, Keenan Evans being a 4-year player at Texas Tech and developing. I think Roach would like, is he a junior? I'm not great with that kind of stuff, but I know he's gotten better. I saw him play a lot as a freshman, just watching games on TV. I say a lot, just as a fan. Last year competing against him, he got better from game 2 to game 3 when we played him. He's just a guy that's getting better because he's playing at Texas for a great coach. He's shooting the ball really well as of late. He's a guy that makes plays for him on both ends of the floor. So I think he's one of the best players in the Big 12. And, that statement kind of speaks for itself.